You ever hear a story that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie, but it's also kind of like a fairy tale, and then you find out it actually happened? Well, get ready, because that's exactly what we're diving into today. It's a story about an alien, a computer, and a kindergarten sandbox.
So, our story starts with a visitor. This little guy is Pee-Pee, and as the story goes, at this one particular kindergarten, he was an alien who traveled all the way across the galaxy with a very special mission.
And where did he land his spaceship? Not in New York, not in some secret military base. Nope. Pee-Pee touched down right in the middle of the Kanaoka Kindergarten in Japan. A place full of mud, giggles, and a whole bunch of 5-year-olds.
So that's the big question, right? Who was this guy? Really? Why travel all that way just to hang out with a bunch of kids? What did he want? Well, that's the mystery we are going to solve.
First things first, to understand Pee-Pee, you have to understand the world he chose to land in. Because let me tell you, this was not your average kindergarten.
I mean, just look at this map of the place. It's not just a couple of classrooms and a swing set. This was a whole world. You can see they had animals, gardens, and right there in the middle, a mud mountain.
The whole idea here was so cool and simple. You learn by doing. The kids didn't just read about animals in books, they literally lived with them. They didn't just learn about vegetables, they grew their own snacks. And that mud mountain? Every single year it was a fresh pile of dirt, a total blank canvas for the new class to build into whatever world they could dream up.
So, in a place like this, where a real rabbit might hop past a drawing of a rabbit and a mound of dirt could be a kingdom, well, the line between what's real and what's imagination gets wonderfully blurry. It was pretty much the perfect place for a friendly alien to just show up. But here's the twist. Pee-Pee didn't appear in the sky or in a spaceship. He came through a totally different kind of portal, a computer screen. Now you gotta remember, we're talking about the age of 8-bit computers. This is way, way early in the personal computer game. The machines were simple, the graphics were super basic. But that limitation, it was actually the best part. It meant everything was about pure creativity, not flashy effects. Pi talked to the kids using something called turtle graphics, and it's such a brilliant, simple idea. Basically, the kids gave commands to a little triangle on the screen, the turtle. They'd tell it, go forward, turn right, and as it moved, it would draw a line. They were literally programming their own drawings to life. And this quote from one of the teachers just captures the magic, right? The teachers would actually turn the kids' own drawings and their day-to-day adventures into the world on the computer. So this wasn't some off-the-shelf game. It was their own world digitized. It was made by them, for them. Okay, so we've got an alien, a computer, and a pretty amazing kindergarten, but this wasn't all just for fun. There was a very specific and honestly a very clever educational reason for all of this. Here's the thing. The teachers at Kanaoka had spotted a problem. They noticed that the 5-year-olds were super dependent on them for everything. They'd always ask for help, for what to do next. They just looked to the adult for all the answers.
So they brought in Pee-Pee to be a totally different kind of guide. Think about it. A teacher is supposed to help you when you're stuck, right? They give you instructions and answers. But Pee-Pee was different. He wouldn't just give you the answer. He'd give you a puzzle. He would hide secrets. Pee-Pee was basically a mystery that the kids had to figure out on their own by working together.
And there it is, the big aha moment. Pee-Pee was part of a grand strategy. The computer wasn't a toy, it was a tool, specifically designed to break that cycle of depending on the teacher. It created this little bubble where the kids had to rely on their own curiosity and on each other to solve problems. So, the big question is, did it work? Well, the best way to find out is to hear from the people who were actually there, living this adventure every day. To these kids, Pee-Pee was absolutely real. You can just feel it when you look at their drawings. He wasn't just some pixels on a screen. He was a friend, a guide, a real part of their kindergarten world. And years later, when some of the students were in 4th grade, this is how they remembered him. A cherished friend. Just think about that for a second. A simple little triangle on an old computer screen became a cherished friend. That says everything about the connection they built. And from the director's point of view, it was a total success. He saw the kids become these determined little problem solvers. They weren't afraid to try things, fail, and try again, all on their own, until they got it right. And the ripples of this project just kept going. For some kids, this super positive first experience with a computer sparked a real passion. It literally shaped their interest for years to come. This wasn't just some cute experiment, it had a lasting impact. But
You know, like all epic cosmic journeys, this one had to have an ending.
And the way the story wraps up is just perfect. One day, Pippi came back. He gathered up all the computer disks, all the drawings, the songs, even the memories of the Mud Mountain, and he just went home, back to his star.
And in the end, the biggest lesson for the educators who created PP wasn't about technology at all. It was this profound sense of awe. Yeah, PP might have been the spark, but it was the kids who built the entire world. They proved that if you just give them the right tools and a little bit of trust, their ability to create is absolutely limitless.
You know, the story of Pippi happened a long time ago, on technology that looks like ancient history now. But the lesson behind it feels more important than ever. It leaves us with this one big question. If they could do all that with a simple triangle on an 8-bit computer back then, what kind of amazing, empowering, and truly magical experiences should we be creating for the kids of today?